Good. Hello, everybody. It is 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and I had planned to do this a lot earlier because I know many of you might be getting ready to cook and prepare your evening meals. But this day just got away so fast. I was doing a lot of things, and I did want to chime in today because I'm still reflecting on what season that we're in, this coronavirus season, this crisis, I like to call it. And I wanted to just share some thoughts for us to think about while we're in this crisis. Because the other day I mentioned how it is important for us to get really busy in the dreams that we have and get busy with those things that we have put aside because we've got some time to do it. But what I've also noticed being in a crisis, that a crisis is a time for creativity to come alive. Crisis really demands for us to think of new ways about the situations and the problems that we're confronted with. So it is prime time to rethink strategy, to rethink life, to rethink how we're going to come out of this stronger, better, smarter, wiser, ahead. And you really have to, again, like I said the other day, is maximize the season that you are in. And so it is important that we come out of this crisis strong, that we come out of this crisis better. Hey, Renee. Hey, Felicia. That we come out of this crisis more wiser than we were when we get into it. And so we've got to maximize. We've got to maximize the moment. Hey, my cousin from Ohio, we have got to maximize the moment. But crisis produces an opportunity for creativity. And you may have been saying, I've never been a creative person. So this is the time for you to get creative, to ask God to make that mind a little bit sharper than the way it was. And so because we are in a lockdown situation, I'm saying let's reboot, let's restart. And I like to think of the example of a baseball player. If he's got a ball in his hand and he tries to throw it from this distance, it's not going to go very far. But if he stretches his arm back, throws that ball, it's going to go further. And so I believe that we're in the pullback season. We're in the season that it's time for us to just pull back, regroup, re-strategize, get some fresh ideas, and when we come out strong. Crisis is an opportunity for creativity. And so this is the time for you to say, what am I good at? What can I do better? What can I create? What can I strategize and do? Now is the time to do it. And I believe that God gives us all the opportunity to come out better, to come out stronger, to really use this opportunity to our advantage. I remember years ago when I had married my husband. We had just been married, and I realized that he was a very talented individual. He could write, he could play the guitar, he could draw, he was learning how to master the computer. He was just well at a lot of things. And I didn't do anything. And I just said, God, I know that there's some things in me that I can do. So I had to pull back and I had to say, what is in me that I can do? And then I realized that I could start, making flowers, and I eventually made flowers and sold them to Arbor Drugs, which is now Rite Aid today, and was able to get a big contract from them, a big purchase order from them, all because I had to really just zero in and say, what can I do? This is my season to do something. I know that he is not the only one with gifts, but I've got some too. And so I want you to take this time, and you may have time we all got time. Take this time to say, hey, what can I do better? What can I do differently? What can I do new? What can I even learn? And I'm learning some new things as well. I'm developing my businesses. I'm working on some things, but I'm also working on some new things that I've never done before. But this is the season to do it. We've all said, Lord, I need more time. Give me more time, because life got busy on us. Well, I'm telling you all, we all have the time to do it. And I tell you, the greatest gift in a crisis is inexperience, because we don't know what to do. There's not been a new model set. So we can set the new model in our life of how we want to move forward. Many crises, out of crises come ideas, opportunities, inventions. So now is the time to get busy, because we're going to need all the resources that we can get our hands on once we come out of this, because it's not going to be the same. Some jobs, unfortunately, are going to be lost. Some jobs are going to dissolve. Some jobs are going to go away. Some employers, it's going to take them a while to bring back their staff. And so we cannot depend on the federal government. And that's what I want to say loud and clear. Let's not only depend on this federal government to be our support. We have got to pull up our bootstraps and support ourselves. We got to go out there and do it. And yes, you can do it. Yes, you can use this crisis to use, again, to tap into the resources, your God-given resources that you can do. Another time, me and my husband, when we first got married, we had this plan that I would come home and I would stay at home and be at home and raise the children. Well, that sounded really, really good when you've got two incomes. And so that meant once the children came and once I was going to come home from my job, that it meant our income was cut in half. And so I said, my back is against the wall. I am in a crisis. The bill collectors are calling. We're only on one income. What can I do to help our family out? So I went to my husband. I said, I have to go back to work. He said, I do not want you working. Remember what we agreed on? And I said, man, I do remember on that agreement, but at the time, it was just not the right thing to do. I thought it was not the right thing to do. So he really put me in a crisis. He really said, you've got to come up with some things to do with your hands that will keep you at home, that will have you make money for us, and we can still satisfy the agreement. So grudgingly, I went to the Lord. I said, Lord, okay, I'm in a box right now. My husband does not want me to work outside of these four walls, but what can I do to sustain, to help us help me contribute to our income? And when I tell you, the ideas just started coming. Back then, t-shirts were popular. So I went out and bought some t-shirts and I decorated them. I put rhinestones on them. I blinged them out. And then I had a friend that worked in one of the plants, and they took them to the plants and they just started selling just like that. Then I went out and made some jewelry and just did some costume jewelry, got somebody to sell them for me, and they just started selling just like that. So I'm telling you, in the crisis that we are all in, this is the prime opportunity for ideas to come forward. This is the prime opportunity for you, again, to dust the dust off of your dreams. This is the prime opportunity for you to start your business. Because when you are in a crisis, as we all are, it is stretching us and it is pulling us to think about more, to think differently, to think outside the box, or really to think inside the box that we're in, and how can we make this box better? Because many times people say think outside the box, but sometimes that's not a great idea. Let's take the box that we have. Let's take what we have in front of us and let's maximize them. And when you think of maximize it, and when you think about the woman, I often think about the woman in the Bible who the creditors was coming to take her and her sons because she owed a debt. And so the prophet said, what do you have in your house? He didn't tell her to go out and look for a job. He said, what do you have right in your home that we can ask God to bless? And so he said, go get some pots. Gather up as many as you can. So she went out and she gathered all of these pots, and as she got the pots and the oil started flowing, as many pots as she had, that's how much oil was poured. And when she ran out of pots, the oil stopped. And so that's how it is with us. We have to look at what we have. What resources do we have right in front of us? We have a computer, we have our mind, we have our ideas, we have the natural talents that God has given us. We've got, if we've gone to school, you've got some academic talents that are there. You have some stuff within you to get going. So I don't know what it is that's on your heart, but you know, God knows, and you have the ability to bring it out. You have the ability to make it happen. We've got our computer, and I'm telling you, we have the world at our lap. So there is no excuse for not doing research. There is no excuse for not venturing out and moving forward, because we are in a crisis, but in a crisis comes an opportunity. This is when my back was against the wall, when we didn't have much, and I just said, God, expand my mind and give me some creativity. And I'm telling you, if you ask him, he'll do it. Do some things. And I had started making this and this idea came when my children were young. They were actually 2. My son was 2 and my daughter was just a few months old. And we would sit at the dinner table, and I would always have to put a dish towel around my son, because he was 2 years old. He would always waste food on himself. And so, you know, I was sitting there thinking, we were eating dinner, and he would always spill food on his shirt. He was only 2 years old. I said, a smock, a dinner smock, a smock for a larger, older child, a 2-year-old child. And at that time, there was nobody selling smocks or dinner smocks for children that were past the age of 6, 12 months. So I ran to my sewing machine, and I designed this dinner smock. It was called a dinner smock. And so I designed it, put it together, and I was ready to go to the marketplace. Well, long story short, I got in contact with QVC. They actually called our church looking for another member, because they were hosting at that time QVC's Best in Michigan. And they were going around to each state to find products to put on their show. And so they had come to Michigan looking for a gentleman at our church whose phone was disconnected because he couldn't pay his bills. He was out of resources. And so they had come, he had given them the church phone number. So I answered the phone. I said, may I help you? They said, we're looking for this particular person. I said, I can get the message to him. And so when the guy from QVC explained what he was looking for, he said, hey, we're just looking for new inventions in Michigan. And we know what we're looking for. We've already got who we want to have at the forum. And I said, well, is there any way that I could bring my product? Now, mind you, I had just put together this oversized smock, dinner smock. And he said, no, we've got everybody we need. We're not accepting any new applicants for the QVC Best in Michigan show. And he called back twice. And so this sounds like an opportunity. I'm in a crisis because I need to get my dinner smocks in the stores. And so he said the last time he called, he said, well, we're going to be out at Schoolcraft College, but if you want to take a chance and come out, you know, you can do that. He said, however, we've got it all. We've got everybody that we want to be have their products presented. But if you'd like to take a chance, come on. So that sounded like an open door to me. So I drove out to Schoolcraft College in Livonia. Tons of people lined up to get in. And so when I got up to the door, you know, I said my name. They said, no, we don't have you on the list. And then the lady said, but we've got an opening, so you can come on in. So hallelujah, I was able to get in. So I got in, I set my dinner smocks down. I had them looking really good as the QVC buyers were walking down the aisles at Schoolcraft College in Livonia. And so when the guy came to my table, the QVC buyer, he looked at it and he just kind of threw it. He's like, no, we're not interested in that. And I was like, oh my goodness, I've worked so hard. I'm ready. I've got my product here. And no sooner than I could try to get into a pity party, this gentleman comes from behind me. He said, ma'am, my boss has been looking for a product exactly like this. he gave me his name, he gave me her name, he gave me his card, and he said, you need to contact my boss. And so the very next day, I contacted his boss. She took me right in. She ordered my products, put them in her catalog. And guess what she had? She had a catalog that serviced individuals who were disabled. And she was looking for a smock for them. And she needed me to make it in larger sizes because I had it in the size for a 2-year-old. And so she needed me to expand my thinking and to do a small, a medium, and a large. And she ran it in her catalog for several years. And I was able to make some money, to make some profit. And so when our backs are against the wall, this is the prime opportunity for creativity to come forward. So I'm challenging you to look for an avenue. Think now in this coronavirus season that we're in, what's going to look different when we go out, and what can you do to solve the problem? Because when you solve problems, resources come. When you solve problems, ideas come. When you solve problems, you bring a solution to a problem, and it helps you and them. So I'm telling you, think about what you can do to solve a problem. Even if you work on your current job, you may have been thinking about some things that can make your company work better. Now it's the time to do it. We have a friend of ours worked at that time for one of the GM divisions, and he was working on his job for several years. And he said, there's a way that we can do this job a little bit better. This is for a major Fortune 500 automotive company. And he presented it to his boss. And you know what they did? They gave him a check because they said, this is something that we had never thought about. But you came up with it because you're here in the trenches and you know exactly what we need. So I'm telling you, we are in the trenches of life. We are in the coronavirus season. Let's maximize this season. Let's come up with new ideas. Let's think about new strategies, new ways that we can improve ourselves, we can improve life, we can improve business. What can we do differently? What can we bring a solution to? Because again, we are in the environment where opportunities are going to flow. We are in an environment where ideas are going to flow. We are in an environment where we can learn a new strategy to present to the world. We can learn new ideas. It's creative thinking. Creative thinking always brings new challenges, new opportunities, new ideas. And that's the environment that we're in. So I just wanted to come to you and just say, hey, how are you doing? Think of this coronavirus season as a crisis. It is a crisis, but with crisis comes opportunities. With crisis comes new ideas. With crisis comes new inventions. With crisis, it also it demands new solutions. So there are going to be some new solutions that's needed once we come out of this season. So put that thinking cap on. When I was in elementary school and we're getting ready to take a test, our teacher would always say, put that thinking cap on. So I'm telling you to put that thinking cap on and come up with new strategies, new ideas, new inventions that we can all have when we come out of this coronavirus season. And, when you think about it, I'm here in Michigan, and today, in April, mid-April, where the flowers are blooming on the other side of the world, we're having snow. So we are in a totally different season, crisis season. I took a picture in my backyard where you can see the leaves trying to green and to bud, and we've got snow coming down. I'm telling you, this is a season that we have never experienced ever before. But this is also the best season around. This is the best season that we can have ideas, creativity, thinking a new normal, because we want to be on the forefront. We don't want to be on the backside. We want to be on the forefront of how can we do life differently? How can we present differently to the world? How can we present ideas differently? And you know, as they say, no question is a dumb question. No idea is a dumb idea. Think about it. No idea is a dumb idea. What you need to do is pull together your dream team, pull together your small team of support, and run it by them. Run it by people that have may have had more experience or may have see things in a different angle. Don't always think that you have to come up with an idea and just launch it out there. Pull together your dream team of thinkers and run it by them and get all the kinks out of it and then present it. But I'm telling you, we are in a new season. We are in a crisis. However, we're in a season where there's going to be new thinking, new ideas, new strategies, new solutions on how we can live life better. Because what happens is life will be different. What happens is restaurants are going to have to operate differently. Every business is going to have to operate differently. And why can't we be on the cutting edge of offering solutions to make life easier, to make life better, to help somebody in our life? I know people that want to start a business servicing the poor. They want to start a business giving support to the widows. They want to start a business helping those in the senior citizens' homes. I'm telling you, whatever thoughts that God gives you, it's never too late. You know, there's a song written by the jazz artist Dave Koz, K-O-Z. I think that's how you pronounce his name. And he talks about new beginnings. If you're still, as long as you're still living, you can start all over again. As long as you are breathing, you can start all over again. I really want to encourage you guys to download that CD off of Apple or wherever, iTunes, wherever you get your music. It's a song by Dave K-O-Z, Koz. He's a jazz artist. And he says, as long as I'm still living, I can start all over again. If my heart is beating, I can start all over again. And he talks about just starting over again. When life deals you lemon, make lemonade. I'm telling you, life has dealt with us the coronavirus blow. But we got to come out stronger. We got to come out with new ideas. We got to come out with new strategies for this world, because the world is looking. It's going to be all eyes on you. All eyes are open for new ideas. You know, they're searching for a solution for the coronavirus. Think, what would be a great solution for the coronavirus? Definitely not, and this is me talking, and I know I may have some people that disagree with me, but I'm not taking a vaccination. That's not going to happen. They're not going to give me a vaccination. That's not going to happen. So there has to be another way that we can attack this coronavirus. There has to be another way that this virus can be dealt with. So come up with some ideas. Come up with some new strategies. If you're a chemist, get in that closet and come up with new ideas. So I'm not going to be before you long. I know it's dinner time, supper time, and just time to begin to just relax and wind down from the day. But I wanted to just, again, encourage you to see this coronavirus season, this snow in April season, as an opportunity for us to rethink crisis, rethink what we're going to do differently once we get on the other side of coming out of this. So God bless you. Have a great evening, and I look forward to connecting with you all soon. God bless you.